everyone, come spend a weekend with me in Hong Kong. So I made my way to the train station here in Guangzhou to take the train over to Hong Kong. And honestly, I think the train station was so neat here. It's so organized, even though like most of those signs were only in Chinese, but still, it was like very easy to get around. And honestly, it's really convenient to take the train from Guangzhou to Hong Kong because it only takes about 2 hours to get there eventually. And yeah, it's really comfortable to travel by train in China, I think. Yeah, and then I arrived in Hong Kong, West Kowloon, and made my way out of the station first, and then took the bus for a short while to Tsim Sha Tsui. Yeah, where I was hoping to get brunch because I took a very early morning train, um, and I really needed my coffee at this point. I think bus rides are quite tough in Hong Kong because they're so bumpy and everything, but very convenient as well. So public transport works really well, and I really thought the bamboo construction was really nice. So I was in the Modi Road area, and this was the brunch spot I went to last time when I was in Hong Kong, but they were quite full, so I went to N1 Coffee instead. And they had a great selection of different bagels. I had a matcha latte, iced, of course, because it was really warm that weekend, as it mostly is in Hong Kong, actually. But yeah, and I really liked their breakfast options. And then I was just wandering around the Kowloon area, a bit around Tsim Sha Tsui as well. And look at these taxis. I think the red taxis in Hong Kong, I don't know, I just love them. I think they're so unique and so cute. So actually I've never been to Hong Kong Museum of Art, but I think they always have quite nice exhibitions, at least from what I saw, so I might check it out. And they had this creative market here where they sold like jewelry and DIY stuff. I then went to the promenade where you can see Hong Kong Island, or actually today you can see it quite as well because it was really foggy and cloudy, and usually you're supposed to see Victoria Peak here, but today not so much. And I think it's always quite crowded on the weekends, but it's still really nice, especially if it's your first time in Hong Kong. Actually, this was my third time traveling to Hong Kong because it's just so convenient by train. And yeah, you get there so fast from Guangzhou. Um, yeah, this promenade is actually called the Avenue of Stars. And even though it's my third time in Hong Kong now, and each time I'm doing a bit of different stuff, um, every single time I'm in Hong Kong, I'm at the Avenue of Stars because that's where the ferry pier is, and where you can get to Hong Kong Island very easily via the ferry. But also, I think it's really nice to see Hong Kong Island and the skyline, especially at night. So definitely go check it out. And then I took the taxi because I was quite tired actually, but I took the taxi to Hong Kong Island. And yeah, I think the vibe like between Kowloon and Hong Kong Island is quite different, but I can't really decide which vibe I like better, honestly, because it's so different and both are nice, to be honest. And on Hong Kong Island, you have these double decker trams, which are so fun to ride. And actually, on that weekend where I went, it was free to ride the tram, so it was even nicer. Um, I was thinking of going up to Victoria Peak, but there were so long lines, so I was just taking the tram, having fun, and grabbing another coffee at this cafe. And they had this cheesecake, which was really good, and then I had like a fizzy coffee, which was also really nice. Yeah, so check that out. And then I went to Cupping Room, which is a chain cafe in Hong Kong, but they have nice breakfast. I didn't try the breakfast yet, but the pictures look so nice. And honestly, I just had a drink there, but the vibe was really nice. I really enjoyed it there, and I was just chilling for a bit before making my way through Hong Kong Island and over to get dinner at some point. Honestly, when I was just walking through the streets at Sheung I saw so many cute cafes. Obviously, I'm not a local in Hong Kong and I'm not an expert at all. But like just judging by the aesthetic, by the vibe of it, it looked so nice, honestly. So I can't wait to try out more cafes. And yeah, just more cute stores in Hong Kong as well the next time I'm going there. And then I took the tram back. I think a tram might be like my favorite type of public transport, not just in Hong Kong but in any other city as well, because you get to see so much of the city. It just goes straight through, also the city center most of the time. So I got to enjoy most of Hong Kong Island by tram this time. Obviously, the first time I went, I walked all of this by foot, or like looked at most of these things, but it was just nice to like visit them by tram and like see them again this time. So yeah, it was quite nice, honestly. And I don't know, I think Hong Kong architecture is just so cool. And then I saw this store and I thought it looked so aesthetic. I didn't try it because I went to dinner at that point, but yeah. So I tried out Little Bao at Causeway Bay, and I just found it on Google Maps, and honestly they had such a promising menu, and also some like vegetarian options, which I always love in a restaurant when they have vegetarian options on the menu. So I tried this vegetarian burger, which was really nice. I don't know if you've tried Bao Burger before, but I think they're really great, and the fries were quite nice as well. They were so crispy and so good, and yeah, it was just really cozy, and I really enjoyed having dinner there. Yeah, so I could definitely recommend that. After dinner, I went back to Wan Chai and the ferry terminal to get back to Kowloon as well. And honestly, you can just see Hong Kong by night and how great it is. I was really tired at that point, but I still enjoyed it so much. I think it's so pretty, like how much the buildings are illuminated. I know how bad it is for like light pollution, and it makes me really sad to think about it, but it's still like pretty nice. So I was at the Wan Chai Ferry Pier, and there's this Victoria Harbour and the harbour space where they installed like a chill area, and there was this harbourfront event space as well. And at that point when I went in early March, they had a lot of mazes and like all different forms. So we had the mirror maze at first, then there was the concrete maze, and then they also had another maze. And I think the concept of it was really cool, just like to create a space for people to like chill in, to go to enjoy in the city. And there were like all these really high buildings in the background, and it was just so cool to see, honestly. And I really enjoyed all of these mazes. I really wanted to go on the playground as well, but I was alone, so I couldn't like take these swings or whatever they're called. And the moon was really pretty that night as well. So yeah, just a really chill evening, honestly. I think in total my favorite was this mirror maze that I went through in the beginning as well, because it was quite trippy. Yeah, and then I already made my way back to Kowloon and took the ferry back. I'm really a great fan of the ferry system here in Hong Kong. It's so reliable, and I feel like there's a lot of ferries like going back and forth between Kowloon and Hong Kong Island. Of course, you could also take the metro, but I feel like as a tourist, it's always nice to like see something, and you can see the skylines so well from the ferry. As for public transport, you would need an octopus card to get around. There's also an octopus card for tourists, and I think you can get it for Apple Wallet as well. But honestly, it's just so easy to like whenever you arrive at the West Kowloon station to go to a convenience store, get your octopus card there, and then already like charge it with some money so you can take public transport in Hong Kong. This was on Sunday, really early in the morning, because I decided I wanted to go hiking in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is actually really great for hiking. There's a lot of easy hikes as well, but also harder and longer ones. And here I did the Dragon's Back hike. So you can take the bus or a taxi to Shek O bus station, and then you just start there. And first you have to go upstairs, and then there's a platform where you can see everything normally. Not today, because it was so foggy again and so cloudy, and the humidity was really high. And yeah, then basically you can follow the trail along to Dragon's Back. So here you can see the viewing point, and I had my breakfast there. So this was one of the good things, but other than that, you couldn't see anything at all. But it's supposed to be one of the prettiest hikes in Hong Kong especially, but also in Asia in general. And it's quite easy. So the first ascent is quite hard. I thought, well, I was sweating at least, but I feel like I'm also out of shape. But then after that, you can see here, it's like really flat. I think in the sun, you'll definitely like have to take care, wear sunscreen, a hat, because there's not a lot of shade. But other than that, it's really pretty, and it was not too hot here because there was no sun. It was also quite sad because I couldn't see anything. But it was so calm, and because I went so early, there were no people at all. So definitely recommend that, because I heard it can get quite full on weekends as well, especially because it's so pretty and a rather easy hike. Yeah, and then I continued to Big Wave Bay from the Dragon's Back. So this was just a descent down to the bay. You can see a few buildings here, but honestly, it's just so nice to be out in nature and to walk around. It's my first time hiking alone, like solo hike, so I was quite scared at first, but I think it was a good hike to start with. And then I arrived at Big Wave Bay, and I was so impressed. It just felt like a tiny surfer town to me, because there were surfboards everywhere. You could also rent them. And when I went to the beach, there were surfers there as well. And in the back, you just could see the mountains. The beach itself was pretty small, but they even had public Wi-Fi and changing rooms and showers. And the hike in total took me about 2.5 hours. So it really wasn't too hard. I can drop you the details as well. And then I went swimming, and it was so nice, honestly. The ocean wasn't that warm, and there was a shark warning when you entered the beach, but I really couldn't resist. So people who know me know I'm a mermaid all the way, and whenever I see water, I have to go swimming. And yeah, then just like that, I took the bus back to the MRT station and then back into the city to get brunch. And honestly, it was just such a perfect day, even though the weather wasn't nice, and even though I was quite scared at first, but I think I made the best out of it. And even from the bus, I was so impressed by all of the views, and I don't know, I think Hong Kong is so amazing. Like, I was so impressed by Hong Kong before when I was just in Kowloon and Hong Kong Island. But now, like, around the mountains, around the beaches and the ocean, it's just much nicer, even. And yeah, just like that, I'm taking the MTR again. Um, so yeah, I was just really impressed. And then I was back in wechat, so like in the middle of the town. I think the ride in total took me about half an hour, maybe a bit more because of the bus. But yeah, I thought this flower store was really cute. I really liked it, like how it looked and just the flowers blooming everywhere. And even though it was stressful to be back in the city, it was also quite nice because it was so short. And then I got some pastries at Bakehouse. They were really good, so definitely go check them out. And then I was brunching at the Cafe Academics, which was great because they had free Wi-Fi, a lot of different options, and I got some work done, which was also nice, some editing, some Chinese homework. And then that was it already with my Hong Kong journey. So I really enjoyed the weekend. It was so nice. And then I took the train back to Guangzhou. Let me know if you have questions about Hong Kong. I'm happy to answer. And I hope you enjoyed. Bye!